Kyle thinks the concept of a god is fundamentally illogical. Kyle is wrong. You see, everything that begins to exist has a cause. A flame needs a spark, a tree needs a seed, a Kyle needs a mom and a dad. Kyle didn't just appear out of nowhere, and neither did the universe. Even atheists agree the universe, and everything in it, must have had some kind of beginning, because nothing can't cause something. You know, that's not science, that's magic. And not only did the universe begin, but it began with rules, source code, math, constants, facts of existence. Think about it for a second. If gravity were slightly weaker, no planets. Slightly stronger, everything collapses into one big ball. If the strong nuclear force were different, atoms wouldn't hold, you'd be cosmic soup. If DNA wasn't coded with rules in place, Kyle would be some kind of puddle of goo. We live in a world that is entirely fine-tuned for life as we know it to exist, not by chance, but by design. When Kyle sees a painting, he knows there was a painter. When he sees a book, he knows there was a writer. So why does he think logic, language, beauty, even his own mind, came from chance, from time, from nothing? The universe looks designed because it was. Kyle never rejected God because of scientific proof. He rejected God because deep down, he knows God is real, and that scares Kyle. But reality doesn't really care how Kyle feels. Kyle thought the existence of God was silly. Now Kyle knows nothing can't create everything or even something, and a design always points to some kind of designer. Kyle thinks all religions are basically the same, just different names for the same concept we all like to call God. Kyle is wrong. Let's start with something basic. If God exists, he must be the greatest being imaginable. You know, that's literally the definition of God. So if we can conceive of something greater than what we are claiming to be God, then definitionally it can't be God, because for God to be God, nothing can be greater than God. You see what I'm saying? So the real question isn't which God works for you. The question is which God is actually worthy of being called God. So let's do some comparison. The God of Islam is a master of servants. The Christian God is greater. He's a father of sons and daughters. The Jewish God is exclusive and only cares about saving Jews. The Christian God is greater. Jesus Christ died to save all people, not just the Jews. The Hindu gods? I'm not even going to dignify this with any kind of explanation. If you can conceive of a greater God than what a religion is describing, then that religion isn't describing God. And at the end of the day, nobody offers a God greater than Jesus Christ. Kyle thought all religions more or less point to the same God. Now Kyle knows only one religion can truly have the greatest God worthy of being called God, and that religion is Christianity, and the God is Jesus Christ. Kyle thinks Jesus was just a nice guy with good vibes and moral teachings, like a chill ancient therapist. Kyle is wrong. Jesus wasn't crucified for giving hugs, okay? He was crucified for saying he was the Son of God, he could forgive sins, that he would come to judge the world, and that he was one with the Father. No rabbi or teacher talks like that, no prophet talks like that. Only God would ever talk like that. But let's investigate Jesus a little bit further. If we're going to believe something about him, what options do we have? There are only three that make sense. Number one says he was lying, but we're supposed to believe that he was willing to be crucified for that lie? Not likely. Number two says he was a lunatic, but somehow also the wisest moral teacher in history? That doesn't track. And that leaves us with option three, that he was telling the truth. His followers claim he rose from the dead, and were so sure of it that they were tortured or killed for it. The tomb was empty, his body was never found, hundreds claimed to see him all at once, and these weren't fairy tales. Even hostile Roman and Jewish sources like Josephus confirm the basics. You don't build Western civilization on some kind of prank. At the end of the day, Jesus doesn't leave you the option of calling him just a good teacher. He claimed to be God. You either believe him and crown him your God, or you don't believe him and crucify him in your heart. Kyle thought he could mold Jesus to be whatever makes Kyle feel good. Now Kyle knows you can't just respect Jesus, you can either worship him or reject him. There is no middle ground. Kyle thinks Western civilization can survive without Christianity just fine. Kyle is wrong. For over 1,000 years, Christianity shaped the West. Its laws, education, culture, and values, justice systems, universities, human rights, and the dignity of the individual all come from Christian roots. Kyle may not know it, but the way he thinks, what he values, literally his entire moral framework, all come from a foundation of Christian teaching and morality. But now Western churches are emptying by the day. Christianity is shrinking as secularism and new new population groups rise in America. Old traditions fade, and new, alien traditions rise to supplant them. Without Christian faith, Western morals erode. Without Western morals, Western society unravels. It's like the ship of Theseus. If we keep replacing the very planks of Western civilization that make it what it is, at what point does it stop even being Western civilization? Kyle sees the consequences of this everywhere. The Christian foundation that built the West is being abandoned, and the West is crumbling because of it. Kyle thought the West could survive secularization. Now Kyle knows Western civilization dies without Christianity, and that death is already underway.